6 days away, my friend, until the moment of truth. 6 days. 6 groovy days. Isn't that something? 6 days. Are you happy? Are you happy? Now listen to Uncle Lenny. Do me a favor. Don't let these bastards upset you. I'm telling you. Oh my God, look at Pennsylvania. Let Trump take care of that. Oh my God, the president, the mayor of Lancaster didn't let him. Tell Lara Trump and Watley and those guys. Don't look at me. You do this. You're up there waving and everything. Earn your keep. Don't look at me. Do something about it and keep pushing it and keep pushing it and let people know what's happening. Go online and just tell people, look what they're doing. Look what they're doing. Well, what about this? Pick up the phone. Here, call the governor of Josh Shapiro. Call this number, 30 whatever, and call them. Do it. Take action. Don't just stand and, here's a funny meme about. No, do something. Tell people what to do. Pennsylvanians, call this number. Let them know. Send them emails. Send them. Do they even do telegrams? I have no idea. Do something. Take action. But don't lose your mind. It seems right now it's over. And there's going to be, be vigilant, but it's over. It's done. The only thing that can be done right now, the only thing is something so catastrophic, so incredible, so god awful, something where, mass murder or something, nothing. Do you understand, my friends, that Donald Trump is, for all practical purposes, bulletproof in terms of issues? And maybe, but what are you gonna do? Have a sex scandal? How about Tampon Timmy's sex scandal with his Chinese, whatever it is? You know this? I just does that matter anymore? I don't know if that matters. You notice how Gay Mala doesn't have any scandals? I wonder why. A mollusk doesn't have a scandal either. But that's another story. We'll talk about that some other time at some other occasion. So just relax. Put this into perspective. Things are looking great. I'm telling you, Joe Biden. I'm doing a newsletter right now. I hope you're. How do I say this? I hope you're sign up for the newsletter because I'm putting it on and it's wonderful. It's a great little piece of inspiration. But I have a theory. It's very, very, excuse me, very, very simple. Joe Biden hates him. Remember, Barry Obama said, remember Barry said, that never underestimate Joe's ability to F things up. He hates Barry. He hates Kamala. He hates Hillary. Joe was supposed to run in 2016, and they gave it to the oven mitt fashionista. He was supposed to run. Not her. He was supposed to, but they told him, blow it out your arse. You're going to win. What? That's right, Joe. But wait a minute. Sorry. No can do, big guy. Sorry. Give it to Hillary. Give it to Hillary. It's her turn. Okay. No, they just abused him. He got the nomination. He got the nomination. He was supposed to be in, and then they said, "Nope, sorry, you're out." What? You're out. All the while attesting and verifying and vouching for the fact that he's okay. Oh, this is beautiful. They have been in free fall the whole time, but they keep counting on you to be listening to that walking mop, whatever that thing is. Whoopi and Joey Behar and others. Who cares what these people say? Well, there's the comedian joked about Puerto Rico. Who cares? Doesn't matter. This is Trump. Think about this. Get ready. We're going to talk about some great stuff. But as usual, first, a word from our sponsor. Listen to this. New reports reveal that the average person has $8,674 in credit card debt. Plus, the total average consumer debt is a shocking $104,215 between mortgages, auto loans, student loans, credit cards, and unsecured loans. Unfortunately, without outside assistance, many will continue digging themselves deeper and deeper into the hole of debt. Now, I've advised and counseled friends and clients for years who want to take back control of individual debt about this secret weapon that has helped so many consolidate everything owed into one affordable monthly payment. They even help negotiate a settlement agreement that will allow you to pay less than the total balance. Listen, they settled over $275 million in debt, and they've helped people become debt-free in an average of 28 months. I've had such an incredible experience referring clients and friends that I wanted to partner with them here and introduce their services to you, my loyal Lionel Nation family. If you want a helping hand to get out of debt, I absolutely, positively, and strenuously recommend booking a free consultation now by going to nodebtwithlionel.com. Look at the address. Once again, that's nodebtwithlionel.com. Use the link I've provided under the title. Listen to me. You can take control and learn how to get out of debt now. Okay, my friends, a couple of things to note. First, I want to thank our great friend, Howie Brown. You've got a lovely daughter. Gifted 20 Lionel Nation memberships. Thank you so much, Howie. Appreciate that, my brother. This is it. Let's start in no particular order, shall we? In no particular order. Let's just enjoy. Let's just enjoy. Okay? I sometimes get just tired of the usual suspects talking all this nonsense about whatever. It's like this, whatever. By the way, 10:40, I'm going to be at the Mark Simone show today on WOR. Listen for that one. That's always a good one. 10:40. But here's the deal. Before we begin about something, let's just relax. I always want you to remember the story about climate change. You do know that has become it's funny how I think people sometimes replace things with religion. During the Rona, the mask was the vestment. The vaccine was the sacrament. The CDC was the Vatican. You know, I mean, they had all these religious kind of overtones to it. It was this thing that people believe in. I always notice here, for some reason or another, here in New York, if you see, we'll put it this way, I would venture to say the number of Asians, probably Chinese born, with face masks is higher than anything you can imagine. I really believe that. And it might be for a variety of reasons. Maybe because they're used to the fact that in China, because of the air pollution, I don't know what the story is. But there are people who just wear this mask. They wear some under the chin. There's this one CVS we go to, and the manager walks around with her under her chin. She always has this. She puts it in her ears, and then under her chin, it keeps her warm. I don't know what this is about. So people will become talismanic. They will look to things. They will look to OJ Dart when it comes to, as we talk about the tentacular peon. They think that somehow this mask is preventing them from that bacteria. The viruses cannot permeate through this. It's like a mosquito through a chain link fence. But when it comes to the notion of climate change, which used to be called global warming, listen to our good friend, Dr. Thomas Sowell.
Make of global warming.
I think it's a classic example of the need for crusades. Now, many people are shocked by these emails. I'm not at all shocked by them. I read the original UN.
Remember the big scandal of the whatever that was, the UN something or other, where they basically exposed and revealed a lot of nonsense regarding the caca del toro of these particular iterations of faith.
Study years ago, and I was just curious as to how they were going to deal with the question that the temperatures went up first, and then there was the increase in carbon dioxide.
Right.
Because you can't say that A causes B if B happened first. And so I read this, and I could see they were tiptoeing through the tulips and the way they phrased things and so forth. They couldn't confront that. And now we're finding out that they knew darn well they couldn't deal with all the evidence.
So it fits the pattern of a group of intellectuals, climate scientists who have a very narrow competency, suddenly proclaiming that there's a crisis, scaring the rest of us, thereby creating a demand for their services, not as climate scientists alone, but as a kind of high priestly caste that can tell us all how to live and save the entire planet, and in the meantime generate billions of dollars worth of government programs to fund their research initiatives. And so it's a racket.
Yes.
All right.
But again, you have to take account of the ability of human beings to rationalize. I'm sure there are scientists out there who believe some or much of what they're saying, and there are other scientists who believe the opposite. But the ones who are pushing global warming are doing their damnedest to make sure that those who believe the opposite don't get heard in the public.
So shouldn't there be some large-ish body of climate scientists who say the data really does suggest that we're headed into trouble here, but precisely because my saying so as a climate scientist will look like special pleading, we as a community of scientists should be even more careful about being completely transparent, pushing the data out to the public.
Never.
They should overcome the hurdle that it looks like self-pleading. Why isn't that taking place?
There's no payoff to that.
All right.
Imagine yourself as an assistant professor in some department where your senior colleagues were going to vote on your.
By the by, this is very interesting. There was a graph one time that showed temperature and CO2, either saturation or CO2 presence or whatever. But follow this. Angle, graph, a slope, whatever. Remember this, no slope radio. Anyway, angle, CO2, and then temperature. So they looked at this and they go, aha. The more CO2 there is, the more carbon, the more the temperature goes up. And somebody says, no. The greater the temperature, the greater the CO2 saturation. You're looking at this and you're anticipating one versus the other. You're forcing causation based on this particular model. No. And therein lies one of the most wonderful moments ever. Say, oh, don't forget when you talk about this, ask people about the Hipsy thermals and the Holocene maxima and the particular periods of time, geographical and geoglacial moments of climate. They don't know anything about that. Nobody knows. They don't care. And you know what? We're so past that. Have you noticed this? There's just, remember Maurice Strong and Al Gore? Remember they told Al, listen, if you look away and let George Bush take over, we will make you the first carbon billionaire. He said, okay. And that set the model. He and also people later on like Tony Blair and others. I want to show you also something. This is sheer brilliance. You're going to love this one.
I'm Gil Fulbright. The people that run my campaign, they've made this commercial, and I'm in it. This campaign, it's not about me. It's about crafting a version of me that'll appeal to you. A version that visits random work sites with paid actors pointing at things. A version of me that doesn't find old people loathsome or pointless. Has a conventionally attractive yet curiously still family. Listening to my constituents, legislating, these are things I don't do. What I do is spend about 70% of my time raising funds for re-election. I'd do anything to stay in office. My name's Gil Fulbright, but hell, I'll change my name to Phil Goldbright or Bill Fulbright or fill up my mouth with farts. These are the things that are important to me. And these are the fine people that finance my campaign. Now, in order to do these things, I have to stay in office. And to stay in office, I have to keep these guys happy. Now, if any of these things make these guys unhappy, well, my hands are tied. So come November, the choice is clear. You want another spineless mouthpiece for special interest and lobbyists? Or a spineless mouthpiece for special interest and lobbyists? I'm Philip, a mouth with farts, and I approve this message.
American politics is the most loathsome group of liars, predators, pederasts, ketamites, slatterns, deviants, you name it. It is absolutely so vile. Everything. You go to Washington and it's like, it makes you sick. They want to give you this idea like, oh, isn't that wonderful? Oh, look, there's the Capitol. Oh, look, there's Washington. It's full of liars and psychopaths. I hate these people. We can do more to change more things with the getting opinion up by making opinion cool, by making a thought interesting than any of these morons. And they're there, obviously. And you know this. This is old. And that's why Trump is bothering with this, I have no idea, but God bless him. After him, I don't know what's going to happen. But for the meantime, we're sitting back and we're wondering, how in the world did we ever get to this position? How did we get to the point where somebody this incompetent, this stupid, this just stupid? I told you before, and I don't mean to say this. I don't mean to be cruel. I know you're not supposed to say this, but I have a friend of mine who said it very succinctly regarding Kamala. He says, I think she's retarded. Now, I know you're not supposed to say that, but it was a term that had nothing about disparaging people who were challenged, but it was a term that we used. Like, hey, what are you, blind? What are you, deaf? Do you hear what you're not mocking people who have, well, the fact that I have to explain this to you shows the deep level of doo-doo that we are in. Now, my friends, we are on the verge of something which is so beautiful. Joe Biden, who said, I'll tell you what, Don, yeah, listen, watch this. This guy the other day, this insult comic, I really didn't hear of it. Whatever. I am from another planet. These roasting. Pat Cooper was the greatest roaster ever. Don Rickles. These people think it's funny to say, let me tell you something, Tom Brady, you look like a $2 hooker on the Greyhound going to Newark on the rain on Thursday. I don't know what that means, but that's their humor. It's putting together, you're so ugly, you look like somebody paid about I thought about shaved the dust. I made him walk backwards, That's where we are today. There's nothing Steve Ross, whatever, not Steve Ross, Joe, whatever his name was, all these people, they're just, I'm never going to tell you who's funny, who's not funny, who's funny, who's not funny. I am the worst comedy, audience there is. You know that Sebastian Maniscalco? He's terrific for 5 minutes. And after a while, I was like, would you stop acting like, I can't do it. So the other day, lo and behold, who shows up? But that nincompoop, and I love him to death because he's such an ass, Jon Stewart, who thinks he is the arbiter of humor, of funny. All of the comedians today now think that they're not just comedians, but they're arbiters, they are experts, they are academicians when it comes to what is and what isn't funny. They really believe this. They honest to God believe this. And they speak in terms of this. And they have this thing where comedians have to always laugh as though it's the funniest thing they've ever heard in their lives. That comedians in cars having coffee, I never found any of this stuff. I never, ever, ever, ever slapped my knee, fell over, and died laughing with anything Norm Macdonald ever said. Ever. I said, that was interesting. Well, that's interesting. That's just me. I'm not suggesting you should think about this. I never thought George Carlin was kind of fun. He was more profound. But anyway, but here comes Jon Stewart, and he's explaining whoever this comic was, who made the joke of Puerto Rico on an island of garbage or something like that. Okay. Leave it to Trump to say, watch this. I'm going to turn this in my favor. All of a sudden, every Puerto Rican, to me, Mr. Trump, we love you, and I'm from Puerto Rico. You can always hear the Puerto Rico. They go Puerto Rico. The R is what gives it away. They love him. Boricuas para Trump. Everything. Wonderful. Yay. Only he can turn this around. Then when they call him a Nazi, they have all these the Jewish groups doing the Hagir and the Horror and this and that and the Hava Nagila, and you've got Navo, and he said, we're Nazis. Only Trump can do this. You give him something and he turns it around and gives it back to you. He steals it. He steals your thunder. He steals the power and the direction, theoretically, of this thing, which was supposedly going to destroy him. Lori Cook has finally joined us and says, curious amount of spray over Greenville, Illinois this morning. JS bastards. Well, let's see what's happening. Greenville, Illinois. We may not be. How have you heard about Greenville, Illinois? Let's see what's going on with Greenville, Illinois. What's the news about Greenville? Hang on a second. Let's see if there's some news. You got me there. I don't know. Rebecca Lynn Dieselhorst has died. Maybe you could fill me in. I'm sorry. Forgive me, but maybe you might want to, I don't know. How about these other stories? How about these other stories of various in Pennsylvania already? I mean, this is okay. You think this is going to make any difference? Absolutely not. Nothing. Look at Liz Solak. I love this. Liz says, I know your Irish guy that talks gibberish then laughs at himself is the funniest. You have no idea how good that imitation is. You have no earthly idea. You understand this? Look at this. The Puerto Rican comment was on par with a comment about Guam being overpopulated on one side of the island. No, it wasn't. Completely different. That was different. Completely different, on par. Absolutely not even close. That was Hank Johnson, who said he's worried about Guam might tip over. This was a Democrat saying that. The Puerto Rican comment was this opening insult comment, or not insult, but triumph the insult dog. Anyway, this guy, this roast comedian, making a joke about Puerto Rico. Pejorative. No. They're not on par. Absolutely nothing. Nothing similar. Brad Rung says 2 questions. Will she certify the election if she loses? And who certifies if she wins? Because it may be a while since a VP won a presidential election. You know what? These are great questions. And I tell you what, I don't know. I have no idea. Pick up the phone, call Lara Trump, because she's out there, with her, hey, look at me. Okay, Lara, take care of that. And Watley, you're in charge of that. I don't know. I have no idea. Well, is Raskin going to contest it? I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. I have no idea. I have no earthly idea. Oh, that guy, Mark Elias. I don't know. Ask him. Because, yesterday Steve Bannon was out and he's been great. I'm sitting back and remember, I love this today. You take care of this, not me. Look at what they're talking about with California. See, I think this is great because don't forget, Gavin Newsom's down the road.
Newsom and Kamala Harris. California, once the Golden State, is now a complete failure. California has become a corrupt nanny state where homelessness, lawlessness, inflation, and transgender extremism have turned the California dream into a nightmare. Now, Kamala Harris has been helicoptered into the presidential election at the last moment. She will transition America into California. Is that the path we want? This ad paid for by the League of American Workers.
And you know what's great too? We have friends of ours in California who say, I don't know, except LA. A friend of mine says LA is so bad he finally moved back to Florida because it was so horrible because of the crime. But a lot of people don't even realize it. They say, whatever it is. It's just like people will hear these terrible stories about New York and say, it's bad. 99% of all people in New York have never been the victim of crime. Never. Understand this? So it's all kind of perspective. So what I'm telling you is that I want you to sit back and not worry about, what happens if Raskin doesn't certify the... Relax. I don't know. Take it easy. Those are people in charge. Let's see what President Trump does. Let's see what his team does. Let's take all the geniuses like Bobby Kennedy Jr. and Tucker Carlson and Vivek and Elon. I think Elon knows what he's doing. Pick up the phone, call up Peter Thiel, do something, fix, and arrange for this. I'm assuming you've thought about this and you don't need me to do this. Have you noticed how Alec Baldwin is nowhere to be found? Have you noticed this? Isn't that weird? Is it me? I'm pretty good at if I notice, hey, somebody's not here. He's not around. A lot of people aren't. A lot of people. Alec Baldwin was all over the place because a lot of people are getting away from Kamala. They're backing up big time, bigly. It's funny. We have this poor Robert Downey Jr. Poor my ass. But anyway, he's just dying on Broadway. Nobody cares about this. He's not involved in this. A lot of people are. A lot of people are just, ooh. Did you see Katzenberg? No. Spielberg, really? Not really. Even George Clooney? He did his snuff. As it is cratering, people are saying, now's not the time. I'll do it when, before the end is over, but not now. Not now. I mean, this is absolutely something which is so critical. Keep in mind this, because they know they're dying. They know it. And they're going to go on TV and they're going to talk about this stuff. See, I would love nobody ever would let me on TV. Never. My favorite thing. Please put me on the View. Please. The first thing I would do is I want them to lose their minds. Lose their minds. I will be very, very simple. The first thing I would love to do is maybe Joy Behar, but I love to sit there and be the rudest person anybody's ever seen. I would be a hero. I would tell those people what you and everybody has ever wanted to say. I'd love to sit and tell Joy, do me a favor, honey, shut up. She would lose her mind. You do realize that, right? If somebody said to Joy Behar, listen, honey, shut up. That would be it. And ABC would say, leave it in. Joy Behar would say, take that out. They would say, leave it in. I would have my own ticker tape parade, and I would look to Whoopi and say, can I ask you a question? Yeah. What are you saying? And I got one more question that I think America wants to ask. Did you put that thing in your hair thinking it looks good, or was this a mistake? Did you lose a bet? What is that thing? What, seriously, is that hair, yarn, wool? What is this? Is this like a mop? What is this thing you've got? What is this thing? I mean, I've seen, hair extensions, but I got to ask you, what did you sit there and say? I want to shave the side of my head and put this nautical rope on my head. What is this? Do you think that we think that's hair? If I used the straw they use, remember the stuff in Easter baskets, a kind of like colored plastic straw thing. If I put that on my head, do you think, and I say, well, this is my hair. It's green and it's my, she would go crazy. Seriously. And we'll get to the Trump thing in a bit. But do you think this looks good? Do you really sit there and say, that looks great? Hey, where's my nautical rope? Let me put this thing in my, what is this? Joy Reid, well, she's poor thing. She's just gone. But you? Because I love to sit there and I love to look at the other ones. And you, I would insult you. I don't even know who you are. What the hell is a Sunny Hostin? What are you? I'm serious. What have you done? I know Joy Behar has been a comic, though the last time she actually was on the stage was in the late 50s. I think she opened for Eddie Cantor. I don't even remember this. Who are you people? Why are you even here? Barbara Walters was rolling over in her grave right now. Evan Webb says, comedy subjective and personal. I did like Carlin and many others, but most new comedy is not funny to me. Oh, you and The View, but the hens have their mouths taped. Yes. But by the way, I did like Carlin. Oh, I like Carlin too. Carlin was one of the most important people of our time. But comedy is like food. There's some foods you like, some things you don't. That's just it. But what happens is there's this idea that somehow The View, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't. I hate to say it. We all know this stuff. We know the obvious. I mean, we know the obvious. Pilgrim Media says, black women's hair is off limits, like it or not. Well, we're not talking about her hair. That's not her hair. I'm with you on that one. By the way, there was a wonderful documentary we saw. Chris Rock did it on black women's hair. One of the most fascinating. Where's Chris Rock indeed? Did anything? There was also a thing one time we saw a documentary on hairstyles, competitions, and the like. Fascinating. I'm not talking. That's not her hair. It's like people who wear, remember who was a guy? What the hell was his name? Oh, James Trafficant. Remember that thing he wore on his head? What the hell was that? And I always want to say, what is that? Or Marv Albert? Remember when Marv Albert, he was arrested and they said, take off your wig. What? You know it's a wig? Do we know it's a? Yes, take it off. And Phil Spector, that was my favorite. Phil Spector's like Whoopi. Phil Spector said, I'm not going to put a tube on. Give me like a bush, like this huge, like a ligustrum. I'll put it on my head, made of some kind of synthetic polyfibers. Brad Opla says, I'm late. Did you talk about Bannon yet? Yes, we did, and it was great. Thanks. Lori Cook says, tampons connected to Chinese funny money in Minnesota, and Floyd had funny 20. Interesting. Oh, leave it to Cook to come up with anything. Okay, what's the story? Steve Bannon came out. Okay. Now, God bless Steve Bannon. Doesn't do a thing for me. You know how Trump's like saying, that's okay. Steve Bannon, two people. Trump says, it's okay. You notice that? It's okay. Stay over there. That's okay. You notice how also Trump says, Roger Stone, it's okay. Stay over there. Stay over there. Stay over there. And that might be a good idea because let's face it, because their ideas are so powerful and their ideas are so, you know what I mean? But Trump is very smart. Trump says, oh, no. He's not going to hang around everybody. General Flynn, stay over there. Stay over there. Little, you know what I mean? A little pazzo, a little crazy, a little bit. Matt Gaetz, no. Marjorie Taylor Greene, no. She didn't speak because even though I like her, you may like her, she comes across as a nut. Lauren Boebert, Matt Gaetz, they have the stars. See, there's one thing about what Trump does. Trump knows who's cool and who's not. He likes the cool kids. And if you're not a cool kid, with the exception of Sid Rosenberg, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what that was. What was that about? Those first couple, even the guy who was the painter, F this, F that, F this. You know, I mean, I always say I'm a native New Yorker, born elsewhere, and I have a real affiliation for this. And I understand that there's a kind of like the New York patois, but the whole De Niro F this, you sound like a moron. When you think about the wonderful Italian Americans, people who speak Italian, and you think, hey, forget about it. That's not Italian. That's New York with a. We really have to do something about that. It's not at all. We understand you can use the F-bomb. Like I said, well-placed, well, it's fine. It's like a spice. Like Robert Klein said during his moments of lucidity, he says, cursing is okay as long as it's not a substitution for wit, as long as it doesn't, fill everything. There's just something about it. It's like when Howard Stern, oh boy, this poor guy. He thought, hey, now I'm on. It's like, well, what are you going to do? Because you're boring. Because the thing that kept Stern interesting was the fact that there was this line that he almost came over and almost crossed. Did you hear what he almost said today? Did you hear what he almost said? Well, now he's able to say it, so when he curses, it seems gratuitous. And the whole Robin thing, bless her heart. The laughing, I don't. Even Ed McMahon had his moments. You've seen Sherman Helmsley and Howard doing the blackface thing. That's just not funny. It's not that it was racist. It's just not funny. Listen, I'm going to say something. If something is racist, sexist, homophobic, or Islamophobic, and it's funny, because you can be funny, the joke's got to make sense. But if it's gratuitously just mean, or you're trying to shock me, stop it. Now, by the way, this is one of the, hold it, Evan Webb has something to say. Listen, I still want to know what happened with the Drudge Report. I have not heard Matt in years. Did he sell out? Evan's worried about this. Ladies and gentlemen, please, Evan, we're going to work on this. Somebody find out for Evan. Evan's worried about this. He still wants to know what happened. Evan, he walks down the street. Hey, Evan. He goes up to people he doesn't even know. I still want to know what happened to Evan. Who's that man? I don't know, honey. But he still wants to know what happened to Matt Drudge. Now, let's do this one. This is Byron, ¿cómo se llama? Byron, whatever, from Florida. Great, smart congressman. Check out the CNN anchor or the person or the presenter, whatever the hell she's called, to the left. One of the funniest moments ever. Watch this.
My response is that the first statement from
she doesn't move, okay? She doesn't move. She doesn't say anything. She doesn't react. They could have just brought her in and just put the, she just doesn't care. She's thinking, please let me finish my shift and let this end to the, let me just hang on till Christmas because CNN is cratering.
Joe Biden is the one that he truly believes. He does not think that people who disagree with him or his party, who support President Trump, are Americans. He thinks that they're garbage. That's a fact. And the reason, what I go back to is 4 years ago, around this same time, it was Joe Biden that went on the Breakfast Club, and he famously said that if you couldn't vote for him, then you weren't black. It's the same Joe Biden made the same type of statement 4 years ago. So this is consistent with who he is. Look, I think right now what we have is a contrast in presidential campaigns. Donald Trump has been on the campaign trail talking about fixing our country, ending a lot of the travesties from the Biden-Harris administration, making America great again. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, for that matter, they're running around talking about the rally, and MSG was a Nazi rally. Well, Laura, I spoke at that rally. So did Harry O, the founder of Death Row Records. So did Vivek Ramaswamy. So did Tulsi Gabbard. I don't think the Nazis will let us speak at their rally. So that hateful rhetoric is coming from the left, and it's got to stop.
He never said anything. I mean, no interruption. Caitlin would have been there with the eyebrow and the funja face. She would have been there. I see this stuff the next day. I don't see it when it comes out. I just think it's funny. Who's watching this crap? Who, honest to God, is watching this crap? That's what I want to know. You know what I want to know too? Ready for this? I want to know, what are you going to do during the time of some kind of disaster? You listen to me and you listen good. Tomorrow's the end of the month. Today and tomorrow. You better hurry up. Get your deal in right now. I'm telling you. The end is nigh. Louie and I. Tremendous. Hey, Steve Areno. Remember him with Steve Allen? Before your time. Prepare with Lionel. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no FEMA. There is no help. There is nothing. I don't know who's running the show. I don't know who's in charge of the weather. I don't know who's in charge of emergencies. I don't know anything. All I know is this country just sits around and, remember the Northern California fires? Hey, there's fires. I wonder where they came from. Shut up. Okay. Poor Marjorie Taylor Greene. You know, I see some lights. Are you saying it's Jewish lasers? What? You anti-Semite? Talking about the fire. Shut up. What about Lahaina? Oh, yeah. Did Oprah buy all that property? What about all those people? Did they ever go back? What about Florida? Is Florida up and running? I don't think so. There are some places. What happens if all of a sudden that dock worker strike? Uncle Lenny's putting the money. I'm going to bet you. I'll bet you that's not the October surprise. Because remember, they're going to wait until after. They're not going to do it now because now they're going to blame, Kamala and Pops. All right. But that's coming. Why? Because the dock workers said, we're not settling this. We're suspending this. Remember that? Remember this guy, when you talk like this, I'm going to choke you tonight. You're going to be miserable. You're going to live in a life with a living dead. And we're going to pay you. I mean, he's saying that. One interruption. All of a sudden, the docks, the boats they're not docking. There's the food and this and that and the cars and everything. It's horrible. Meanwhile, when it comes to food, what are you going to do? Oh, don't worry. I got it covered. No, you don't. Well, that's not going to be a problem. No, you don't understand. They shut down stores. Once the calamity starts, insurance companies are going to say, you're not going to stay in. We're not going to. No. You're not going to be open to have basically riot magnets closed down. And then this one closes. And then the next thing you know, the local news goes in there. We're at the Piggly Wiggly. We're at the Acme. We're at the Trader Joe's. We're at this. And they're closed. People complaining, scared. During COVID, people went nuts over, I don't know why, milk and bread and toilet paper. What the toilet paper and COVID was, I have no idea. Preparedwithlionel.com. The 3-month emergency food kit deal right now is the best. But just peruse this. I'm telling you, preparedwithlionel.com. I know what's going to happen. Always bet on calamity. Always bet on people going nuts. You understand this? Raul says when Kamala loses the election, what awaits her? Oh, money. What me worry? Thank you, Maurice. You said, the great Alfred E. Yes. Evan, well, I still want to know what happened to the Drudge Report. Thank you, Evan. I still want to know. I know you do. No, seriously, I know, Evan. I understand. I understand this. Now, did you see this little story? This was good, too.
Passwords for Colorado's voting systems were posted online for anyone to see for months.
What are you talking
about? Look. What? Democratic Secretary of State Jenna Griswold's office apparently posted them online by accident. Griswold's office found out last Thursday and had not told the county clerks who actually run elections. Then the Colorado Republican Party went public today, demanding that Griswold secure those voting machines. Here's Marshall Zellinger.
Oh, it's about
the
time,
Colorado
Marshall.
Secretary of State's office is required to maintain a spreadsheet of certified voting systems for each county. That's this list. At the bottom of any spreadsheet, you can have multiple tabs. You can also hide a tab. But if you post the raw spreadsheet to a public website, apparently anyone can also unhide the tab. This happened and apparently revealed one set of passwords for voting computers in Colorado. Next confirmed this with the Secretary of State's office today, but we learned about it this morning in an email blast from the Colorado Republican Party. The passwords had been up for months without it being known, and some, but not all, were current and active.
Can you believe this? How? Does this kill you? It kills me. And how about Joe?
Doesn't matter. No matter how good or bad that president is.
Try this again. There's always that little glitch. I'm sorry about that.
The words of a president matter.
Yes.
No matter how good or bad that president is.
That's true.
At their best,
the
words of a president can inspire.
Yes.
At their worst, they can incite.
Yes.
The work of the moment and the work of the next 4 years must be the restoration of democracy, of decency, honor, respect. The rule of law. Just plain, simple decency.
Absolutely.
The renewal of a politics. It's about solving problems, looking out for one another, not stoking the flames of hate and chaos.
Donald Trump has no character. He doesn't give a damn about the Latino community. Speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
Now, who was it? Hang on a minute. Who is this?
It's about solving problems, looking out for one another, not stoking the flames of hate and chaos.
Donald Trump has no character. He doesn't give a damn about the Latino community. Speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage.
A speaker at his rally. That wasn't a speaker. That was a comedian, I think. I'm not really sure. And by the way, speaking of a president whose job is to engender and to inspire respect on all levels. Remember this.
And then we're going to have.
There you go.
Got it? Okay.
And the people in the back, you can spread out a little bit.
Look at this girl. Look at this terror. This is crazy.
Welcome to the front row. Do you remember what I told you? Smile. No, not smile. No date till you're 30. All right. Hey, Angel, how old are you? 12. You're 12. What's your name? How are you? I'm 12. The problem is, you know, you guys, you got a hard time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All right, sister. I like kids better than people.
Yeah.
Look at this. She's getting away from me.
Grandpa's one of those guys.
That's nice of you to say.
No, I'm not saying. Do you know what my dad used to say? Granddaughters have one important job.
This is the thing I will never, ever, ever, ever understand. Predation. I just how these sick people, and they worry about things. They worry about a comedian, whatever it is, who makes a bad joke. And by the by, for the record, I believe the Trump administration said something to the effect of they did not approve of the what am I trying to say? They did not approve of the jokes ahead of time, or he slipped in, or whatever. I mean, it doesn't even matter. But this guy's groping, grabbing, caressing, molesting, getting into the physical space, into the personal space of children, creeping them out in front of everybody. He doesn't even appreciate it. And this son of a gun has the audacity, the unmitigated C.O. Jones to tell you and me what a president should and shouldn't do. Oh my God. For the love of God. Now, in case you missed it, last night, I think Gaimala all of a sudden was speaking, and I want you to notice how she's changed a little bit of her message. See if you can pick it up.
Politicians have got to stop treating immigration as an issue to scare up votes in an election.
Now, let's think about that. Immigration to scare up votes. Is it immigration? No. Is it illegal immigration? Yes. Is it criminal? Yes. Is it tren de Aragua? Yes. Yes. That is indeed it. Continue, QM.
Treat it as the serious challenge that it is, that we must finally come together to solve.
Now, you were the one who, when they were asking, said, "Are you the border czar?" No, I'm not the border czar. Oh, yes, you are. No, not me. Are you going to the border? I'm not going to Europe either. What the hell does that mean? I don't know what that means exactly. I'm not going to Europe. You're not going to Europe? What are you talking about? What does any of this mean? That's the issue, my friends. That's the issue. But let's continue.
I will work with Democrats and Republicans to sign into law the border security bill that Donald Trump killed.
He didn't kill, by the way. You know, it's funny how you can kill it when you're not really. No, the reason why is because that bill, and I know you know this, but I'm going to remind you, basically it put into law effective permanently everything that was extant at the time. It did things like, we're going to hire more border people to act as processors, to facilitate immigration, and not people acting as guardians of the border.
When I was Attorney General of a border state.
Oh, here we go. I know she took on the cartels. I took on the French Connection. I did everything. I took on Carlos Later and Pablo Escobar, everybody. Al Capone, or Alphonse Capone, as Trump would say.
I saw the chaos and violence caused by transnational criminal organizations.
Transnational, that's her word. We're not talking about transnational. We're talking about people just coming over. Many of them from just it's transcontinental. Transcontinental.
Organizations that I took on.
She took them on. I can't tell you how I took them on exactly. Never tried a case, really. I sort of, maybe. You see, the Attorney General doesn't take on, the Attorney General is not a criminal, for the most part, when it comes to state government. The Attorney General is more representing the state of California in bond issues and this and that. The prosecutors, statewide prosecutors in particular, are the ones who actually do the crime, not the Attorney General. But that's okay.
And when I am president, we will quickly remove those who arrive here unlawfully.
Wait a minute. What did you say? Wait, what?
Those who arrive here unlawfully.
You're going to remove those who've arrived here unlawfully? You mean illegal aliens?
Prosecute the cartels.
But what if they just came on their own? What if they're not a part of a cartel? What if it's just a bunch of people, bunch of criminals who decide, I'm going to come over?
And give Border Patrol the support they so desperately need.
Well, they had the support they needed, but before you and what's his name started basically, well, I know she's selectively in charge and then she's not, but you basically upended, you abrogated everything that he did. Everything. Look at that, they're forced. She is such a liar. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to provide this to you, and I find this to be the most. Mrs. L and I saw this last night. The World Series, the Yankees came back 11-2, whatever hell it was. And New York fans are normally wonderful people, and sometimes there's a little interference. Remember that one kid who caught the ball, and they were thinking about doing something to him. If these people are not permanently banned from baseball participating, I don't know what is. Watch this.
Stadium. And yeah, Bet says that ball in his glove.
Look at this. He's trying to catch it, and this Yankees fan is fighting with him, prying the ball from the glove.
This fan literally tries to take his glove off.
Trying to dig the ball out. Can you? One more time.
Back at Dodger Stadium.
Look at this. Give me that ball.
Yeah,
you son of a.
This fan literally.
By the way, they granted it out.
Pries the ball out of there.
I'm not advocating any kind of vigilantism, but my God, that is barbaric. You see what I'm saying? All right, my friends. Dear friends, please go to Lynn's Warriors today. She has, oh my God, the latest video on Diddy and how she has been calling the shots, nailing it. And she has been on her pieces with Nancy Grace. You should see the fighting, the hair pulling. I got to pull them apart. I mean, it's incredible. It's a Pier 6 brawl. Katie barred the door. It's incredible. It's a Donnybrook. So watch this at Lynn's Warriors. It's beyond belief. Raul Rodriguez, Maurice Houston, Evan Webb. By the way, Evan still wants to know what happened to the Drudge Report. I'm with you, Evan. Lori Cuck, Out of Control. Brad Oplin, ladies and gentlemen. Pilgrim Media. Our good friend Brad Rung and Howie Brown. You've got a lovely daughter. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget our sponsors. Don't forget. And listen, more important, I'm going to tell you one more time. Prepare with Lionel. Prepare with Lionel. The end of the month. Do not be caught flat-footed. Do you hear what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Okay. All right, my friends. Have a great and a glorious day. See you later this evening at 7 p.m. and also during the day. And until then, remember these final words. A monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya.